What we're going to be talking about today is how if you are a cover band, things can happen in relation to copyright and trademark. In the story, we're discussing Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
They are suing the fake Earth, Wind, and Fire for trademark infringement, and they're claiming that the cover band is deceiving fans. Okay, so when we, of course, look at this, we're like, okay, is there actual deception that's happening, right? Is there what we call consumer confusion? If you are confusing consumers into thinking that another slightly red but brown head girl is top music attorney, aka Miss Krystle, and it's really not me, is that problematic if I own my trademarks? The answer is yes. So let's talk about this. What do you think?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Earth, Wind, and Fire are one of the greatest like soul, funk, R&B groups ever. Their hits are like ridiculous and in numbers even still to this day and still in my regular rotation. I've never seen them live. I missed them when they came with Chicago, and I was so bummed because that would have been like a horn spectacular. When you're looking at the advertisements for stuff or how they do it, because it's the Legacy Reunion, that in itself is kind of confusing when you have
Yeah,
a
so
word.
the name of the show is the Legacy
Yeah,
Reunion. Now, in some of the like details, listed on the website, it does clarify that this is a
yeah,
cover band, but what they're arguing in the lawsuit is fans don't know. And in fact, fans are literally getting confused because they're coming up to
right.
us like, wait, I thought this was you guys. That's problematic.
Looking into it before, Philip Bailey is singing with Earth, Wind, and Fire right now. They are going on tour with Lionel Richie again, not coming to Arizona, which I'm bummed out about because I would love to see Lionel Richie with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I think that'd be amazing. But I think what I was reading on a show that they had done from like a year ago was Philip Bailey sang with this tribute act at one point for some. So that was kind of confusing. But he's not. He's singing with the remaining members of the surviving members of the original lineup. The original singer is dead from Earth, Wind, and Fire. Um, but when you're looking at their advertisement for it, you're just kind of seeing Reunion, Legacy, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like I would assume that that's the surviving members of Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it's the official act.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. So I'm on the USPTO website right now just because I'm like curious. So this is how you look up trademarks. So let's just see. The registrations, we have one, Earth, Wind, and Fire in class 15 for music instruments. This is owned by Earth, Wind, and Fire IP LLC. Okay. So then let's go back. Yeah. Let's see. This one. So there's four total. Because I'm just curious who actually owns the trademark. So then they have one for clothing, which is class 25. Oh, Maurice White. That's interesting. So it
That's
was
that's
first
the
owned.
family.
Well, so I'm wondering because it looks like it was assigned, right? So it was originally the same company. Now this may be Maurice's or the estates, I should say, the estates entity. But now it was put in the individual name, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Class
So
nine
yeah,
for
when he
music.
died, when Maurice died, that's when it went to the. I guess that's when it changed or whatever from it.
Okay. Yeah, so anyway, guys, the way it works with trademarks, obviously you can have common law trademark rights. Here we have literal trademark rights and registration. So we have, in the class of music and clothing. And what was the last one we just looked at? Musical
Music
instruments.
instruments.
And it's owned by Maurice White, of course, deceased. So that would be his estate. So, of course, the estate, the rights holders are going to have a problem with this. But something that we talked about beforehand, I've had band clients that come to me and we have trademark issues because there'll be these huge legacy acts, but a lot of the members have passed. And then the only remaining member of the band, right, is someone who joined the band as like a guitar player, like
Mm.
recently. So it's not necessarily even an original band member, but then this person is claiming rights and ownership and all this stuff. And so it creates an interesting legal question for sure.
Well, this Legacy Act too, it's from what I'm understanding, it is people that have played with Earth, Wind, and Fire, but they could have been like, a horn player that played in 1984 on the summer tour or something. It's just people. The band is so huge with so many members and so many musicians in it that there's only like kind of like three core members right now. When they advertise it, there's like this is a tribute to Maurice, and like this is the Maurice era of Earth, Wind, and Fire, all the hits and stuff like that, and
All right.
so. Um, it's tricky, but like they got to make that stuff way clearer, because I guarantee you those tickets still aren't cheap for this tribute act. There's no way that they're. I kind of wonder what the difference in pricing would be between going to see the real Earth, Wind, and Fire and seeing this Legacy act.
Yeah, I mean, look, let's use another artist, right? So Prince. So we say someone is a Prince tribute or Elvis, right? So we have Elvis impersonators. So, you know, there's also like a cultural phenomenon aspect of it where it's just kind of done and it's going to be really hard to manage. And the argument is if I was representing, let's say, in the Prince tribute act scenario, I'm going to argue it's not causing any consumer confusion because on all of our advertisement, it goes Prince tribute act in big bold letters and no one's getting confused. Now, if I'm representing Prince's estate, I'm going to argue, well, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if you own the trademark, you get to control the use of the name in association with the things it's registered for. So in any case, this is where we're at. So there is a lawsuit that has been filed. The estate does not like it.
I predict that they're not going to end up being able to continue with that, and they'll have to change their name to something like, you know, After the Love Is Gone, Earth, Wind, and Fire tribute band. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be something like they'll just use one of their song titles, or Shining Star and Fire. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, because it is confusing. They're going to have to make it way more clear, especially, you know, in the day and age where bands are together and they're doing reunions, and they're not even like the real lineups. You know what I mean? Like, an example is Pantera. You have Philip Anselmo and, you know, Rex, they're in Pantera, but then they have, you know, dude from Anthrax and Zach Wilde playing in it. So it's not really Pantera, but it is, but they're billing it as Pantera, but I mean, you still have the singer, I guess. So it's kind of, I think it just kind of gets, people just want to be, especially with legacy acts and acts that have been around forever and that have shaped so much of our musical experiences, that they're real. So Wind, Fire, and Earth, I love that. Yeah. I mean, really, but that would solve the problem.
Let's get creative on our namings. Let's make sure we also consult with an entertainment attorney.
Hey.